Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the new MAC Cosmetics and Stranger Things collection. So if you saw my most recent haul, I have recently purchased the two eyeshadow palettes from the collection. I did not get the blush or the lip products as the formulas are not new, and I have way too many of MAC blush and lip glosses already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full look with each of the palettes, and then I'm going to give my final opinions about both of them and let you guys know if I do think they're worth the price, if they're worth the purchase. The first one's called Hawkins Class of 1986 Eye Palette. So this is the packaging. It comes into, okay, so let's just start with the fact that I've never seen Stranger Things. So comment below if these, what is the meaning behind these palettes? I want to know. Is this the high school that they go? Do they go to high school? Is this the high school they go to? I really need to just watch the show because it's so popular, and I think I need to start watching it. So this is the actual packaging of this palette, which is very cute. I love the theme, so cute. You open it up, it comes with a decent sized mirror and a little protective piece, but it's, I'm assuming, again, also to do with the show. So if you're a fan of the show, I'm sure this would be even more exciting for you. I'm just more excited about the makeup. So this is the palette, and you will see when I show you the other one, they are very contrasting palettes. This is a very light color scheme, especially compared to this one where it's more of that dark, kind of vampy color scheme. So this has more bright colors, fun colors, light colors, that whole shebang. If you're, more interested in an everyday palette, I think between the two, this one's going to be the one you're interested in. So before I actually start playing around with that palette, I'm going to just show you this one. This is called the Void Eye Palette. So even just, you can tell with the packaging, this one's kind of fun and all of that. And this one is that dark, vampy color scheme. So those are the packaging, the outer packaging compared to each other. I really like the texture on this one. I really like the look of both of them, honestly. Then when you open them up, again, this has a nice little protective paper, but on theme, and then same sized mirror. And this is the Void eyeshadow palette. So you can see a big difference. There's more deep and dark tones. Very interesting color schemes, There's in this one, there's a purple, a blue, a pink, a green, and then some of those everyday. And this one has those dark smoky shades, but then also a blue, a green, and a red. So I think these are going to be really fun to play with. Hopefully the quality turns out to be good, as I have been a little bit disappointed by MAC's eyeshadow palettes lately, but I swatched a couple of the shades from these and they seem to be really beautiful. So if you're interested in seeing either of these palettes demoed, a whole look with them, I will, show you what I'm doing step by step, and then also my final opinions on them, then keep on watching. I have primed the eyes with MAC Paint Pot as well. So I'm going to take this, it's like a warm toned brown, and I'm gonna just pop that in the crease. Ooh, that is a nice matte. Okay, so when I mentioned I didn't love the MAC eyeshadow palettes as of the last maybe year, it's mainly been the fact that the mattes either aren't pigmented and blendable and creamy like they should be and like they usually are, or it's the metallics, they just lack pigmentation, creaminess, and bam. So as of right now, this matte shade is living up to my old standards for MAC. This is what it should be. Look at that pigmentation. Look at how it's just blending with ease. Ooh, I love that shade. I'm just gonna take my brush with the excess and kind of fan it upwards to blend. So the other matte shades we have are this dark green and that pink. I don't think I'm going to use the pink today. I just feel like I almost can see myself using almost every other shade, but not that one. So let's go ahead and give it a little swatch before I keep going. Ooh, that looks like it has some pigmentation to it as well. I'm going to take this green matte. I was going to do it. I'm changing it up last minute here, guys. I'm going to take a smaller, more flat brush into this Hawkins High. It's a beautiful green though. It's like an Everest green, not like super bright. And I'm going to just pat it on the, ooh, look at the pigmentation. You have no idea how excited I am that this palette is turning out. I love MAC. I've been a huge MAC fan for so long, but like when I'm reviewing these products and they don't turn out, I get so upset. So to see this turning out, I'm very happy. We'll see though, sometimes when I start to blend, that's when the issues arise. I'm gonna start to just softly, just softening those edges, blending it into that brown, and I'm just lightly softening it as it goes inwards. I'm just taking a little bit of that brown and I am blending out these edges to ensure we have a nice soft look. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm really, ooh, look at that. That's pretty, I like it. Okay, so we're matchy-matchy now. I have a little bit of fallout, but not really. So really minimal fallout, especially if you tap off your excess. There's so many ways I could go. I really want to use this one. This is one of the shades I swatched. Look at this shade. Oh, stunning. We're gonna place this in the center of the eye. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull it inwards a bit too. Ooh, I love that shade. Obsessed with that shade for sure. Definitely nice and light reflective, pigmented, creamy, went on well. I don't know if I'm gonna mix the blue in either. Let's take some of this dingus. It's that gold. I'm gonna apply some of that and overlap the bronze and the green so they kind of blend a little bit. Ooh, that's nice and pigmented, that gold. It's like a yellowy gold. It actually blends those shades really nicely. Ooh. I'm gonna now take Surfer Boy Pizza and apply it in the inner corner and on the brow bone. I'm gonna use a brush for this. Let's see what it does on its own. Yeah, usually shades like for the inner corner, I like to wet. So I am gonna wet this one a little bit. That's a nice shade too. It's like kind of a champagne-y tone. Love that. Ooh, I love that. Well, I'm really happy with the look so far. Now what we're gonna do is I'm going to take that Benny's Burger, the brown, and I'm gonna apply it all the way across the lower lash line. And then Hawkins High was that green. I'm going to use more of a pencil brush and apply that on the outer half, making sure it connects to the upper. And then I'm just gonna soften and kind of blow it out. I'm actually gonna use this purple because purple and green I find go really well together. So we're gonna try it out. We're gonna use a brush. So the only shades we wouldn't have used are the pink and the blue, which I swatched, and they both looked pretty good. I'm applying this purple to the lower inner half. This purple looks nice. It would be nice on the lid as well. I like that. I love purple and green together. Really like that purple. I think what I'm gonna do is apply some of this gold, apply a little bit in the center to kind of match to the top. I think that kind of just ties it all together. Just a little pop. And then I'm just gonna reinforce this shade here. Well, I would say I'm really happy, guys. This is the happiest I've been with MAC eyeshadow in quite a while. I'm really impressed with the mattes. They're pigmented, blendable, and I'm really impressed with the metallics for sure. So really happy so far. And then I would say that the color scheme is actually impressing me even more than I expected it to. Because I was a little bit curious as to how this was going to go because there's so many different colors going on. I do think that the pink and the blue, you could do a lot of different looks with this. Like you could go blue and green, you could go pink and purple, you could kind of like start to mix and match, and then you always still kind of have these for more everyday tones. So I really like that. I think it gives a really good variety. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is apply some mascara now. Okay guys, so I have to say, now that I have the finished look, I'm so happy. I mean, even just holding it up next to the look, you can see it's all even tying in with the packaging, especially the look that I went with. I'm really happy, as I said, with all of the shades I used. None of them were disappointing. So if you're interested in seeing how this one goes, then keep on watching. And once I've kind of used both palettes, I'll give my final opinions on, you know, comparing them. Stay tuned if you want to see the next look. Okay guys, so we are going to go in with the second palette now. I do look different. This is a day 2. As I mentioned earlier, I decided to just do them on separate days so I could give each palette a full look. So let's go into the Void eyeshadow palette. So as you can see, the packaging's stunning, as we've already taken a look at. And we're gonna get a little bit darker and deeper with this palette. So I'm very pumped. A little bit like nervous as to where to start. It's a little bit, when I look at this color scheme, it's a little bit kind of, I don't know, like I like that they have this light matte shade here for transition blending out, but it doesn't really, it's quite cool toned. And then this red, we'll have to see if it kind of looks like it has maybe an orangey undertone. Yeah, like it's not super cool toned. It's not super warm toned either, but it has quite a bit of orange in it. So it does have a more dominantly warm tone. So I just don't see those two like going together, which makes things harder for what to decide to do. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Okay, I'm gonna start with the red. Let's just go right in with it. And I'm gonna start by pressing it on the outer lid. So far so good with the pigmentation. I feel like I'm noticing a significant improvement, and I think it's because of the selection of shades, because I noticed when I looked at these palettes a little more in depth online that the mattes are actually Powder Kiss, and when I reviewed their Powder Kiss eyeshadows, I loved them. So I think that that's why these are performing significantly better, is because they are the Powder Kiss formula, which is my favorite by MAC. Slowly softening that edge and bringing it outwards. I'm gonna soften it inwards a little bit without bringing it in too far. I just wanna soften it a little bit, just like that. Ooh, I like that. Don't you see how that blends so beautifully? Ooh, MAC. There's this one here. Ooh, look at that. It's like a little bit chunky, so you don't need to pick up too much product, but when you actually get it nice on the hand, like look at that. Oh. So the one I just swatched was this one down here. There's a duochrome up here that I'm about to swatch. That is just beautiful. It has almost like a teal flip. First, I'm going to do black. I'm gonna go in with an angled brush into the shade The Void. The red was called Code Red, by the way. I'm going to press this along the lash line. Bring it upwards like I'm gonna do a wing. So basically create a wing. But then I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush. We're gonna kind of smoke it out. That black is pigmented too. That's nice. I wanna smoke it out like that. Ooh, I even just like that. Going to soften it and blend it upwards into the crease a little bit. It's kind of like a smoky wing. Oh, I love that. That's a nice black. I like that black. It doesn't like blend out gray or anything. Some blacks can turn gray or almost bluish when you blend them out. That's nice. Okay, I'm now gonna go in with this one right here. Apply that to the inner half of the lid. I'm gonna then take my brush and make sure the edges are soft. This metallic is nice too. So beautiful. Now I'm gonna take this one right here, on a brush actually. I'm gonna apply that to the center of the lid. The metallic was Mind Flayer, and then the duochrome was the Mothergate. Sorry, I'm forgetting to mention the names. I'm now going to take Spores, which is this nice bright shade, and I'm going to use it for the inner corner. I am noticing a little bit of fallout, so I'm just going to dust that off before I get any permanent. I'm going to take a small brush and highlight that inner corner. That's really nice. I'm going to pull it in a little bit too so it blends. For the lower lash line, I'm going to start with the black about halfway. I kind of want to use, I think I'm going to use the green. That's going to look like Christmas though. I might mix the green and the blue to kind of create like teal maybe. Okay, I'm going to leave it actually without wetting it so that it's not super intense. And then I'm going to take the green and lay it on top. I mean, it doesn't really make teal. I feel like when you're applying these kind of shades on a brush, you will want to wet them if you want them to pop. Should we make this one pop? You know what, let's wet them both. Now I'm like, let's just see how bright we can get this. I'm going to wet the blue now just to see. Oh yeah, look at that pigmentation. Much better. Oh, look at that. Which is normal for metallics if you're using them on a brush. So the blue was Creel House. I'm going to pick up Demo Bat again, which is the green. Wet it and lay it on top. Look at that. I would normally put all these colors together, but I'm trying to utilize as many shades as I can. So the only shade that I'm not using is that Demo Gorgon, which is the cool toned shade. Tiny bit of this red just to smoke that out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and apply mascara and then I will give my final opinion. Okay, so this is the finished look with the Stranger Things palette and I am obsessed. I'm really enjoying this more like smoky, sultry look, but I could have gone even smokier and darker. You could do like a traditional smoky eye, and you also could go a much more everyday too. Like you don't have to even utilize the black. You could just use this shade here with some of the natural, you know, everyday metallics and still get a good look. So I like the option it provides. I think the color scheme is like when you actually look at it, you're like, okay, we have a red, a blue, a green, a black, a cool toned that doesn't match the red. Like when I first looked at it, I was like, I don't know about this color scheme, but when you actually put the colors together, they go well together and there's so much possibility with this palette, which I really enjoy. And I think that was kind of their idea behind all of the different colors, is they mix well together. There's so many different options and ways you can go with this palette. So I am, again, very, very impressed. So overall, both palettes, I think color schemes are very different. They're very unique. You only need so many, you know, brown neutral palettes or rosy palettes. Like it's nice to see so much like uniqueness in these. I love that they're so contrasting, one very light and bright and one very dark and smoky. Yet both offer the ability to do fun, smoky and dark, but then both again offer the everyday. So I'm really impressed. There was not one shade that I used that I was super disappointed in. I think all of them ultimately were quite good quality. I think the mattes especially are what really impressed me, just because that's what I've really been disappointed with from MAC in the past. Their mattes have sometimes lacked pigmentation, sometimes faded as you blend them out. These were pigmented. They stayed true to their color as you blended them out, and they blended beautifully. They're not patchy. They're really, really, really pretty. I do believe that's because it's the Powder Kiss formula, so I'm really glad to see MAC including that in the palettes because it is my favorite. And then the metallics on both palettes are beautiful. They're pigmented, they're rich, they're creamy, and they pay off really well. And yeah, I'm really impressed with both looks that I came up with. I definitely recommend both of these palettes. I think it's really up to you whether you want to grab both, or they are quite expensive. They're $62 Canadian. So if you're more like, I'm going to grab one, then I would just take a look at the color schemes. You know, do you like the more dark or do you like the more colorful and bright? Because that's kind of what I find the biggest difference. As I said, both offer some everyday shades, but both offer a very different color scheme in the other shades. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a thumbs up down below, and I'll see you guys next time.